After everything that has happened, it's hard to believe how quickly this entire situation spun out of control, especially considering that all of it began with a brother simply trying to protect someone he loved, yet somehow ending up trapped in the darkest moment of his life, while the sister he risked everything for now seems ready to distance herself from him completely. Even though he stepped into a dangerous situation because she begged for help, cried for support, and believed she was in real danger. The truth is, he showed up because he thought his sister's life was at risk, and now he is the one being dragged through the mud, blamed, doubted, and treated like he created chaos out of nowhere, when in reality, he responded to a frightening call for help that any caring sibling would have answered without thinking twice. Still, despite knowing all this, she appears cold, detached, and ready to push him aside, which makes everything even more painful and confusing for the entire family. Rashida, who has always presented herself as the kind of mother who protects her children fiercely and keeps her home under control no matter what storms hit around her, is suddenly facing the worst crisis she has ever experienced. A crisis so overwhelming that the life she worked for, the family she protected, and the peace she tried to maintain have all collapsed right in front of her. Her son, Kai, has now been named the main suspect in the violent death of rising rapper T. Hood, a man with a complicated history of aggression, temper issues, and dangerous behavior, and the FBI has officially issued a warrant for Kai's arrest, forcing the Frost family into a nightmare they never imagined could become their reality. What started as another episode of domestic violence aimed at Rashida's daughter, Kelsey, spiraled into a deadly confrontation that ended with gunfire, broken lives, accusations from every direction, and a family fighting to hold itself together as the world watches every move they make. Leaked recordings, security footage, emotional voice messages, and disturbing videos have surfaced, showing pieces of truth from every angle, but none of it paints a clean picture. Some people say this is karma coming back around because Rashida once dismissed other women's claims of abuse, especially those involving public figures she defended. Others argue that this is a tragedy fueled by pain, fear, and trauma, and that Kai only acted because he saw his sister bruised, terrified, and begging for help. Rashida and Kirk spent years keeping their kids away from the spotlight, shielding them from public drama even though their own marriage was filled with cheating, humiliation, and public arguments, but this time they couldn't hide anything. Their son wasn't caught in some rumor or online beef. He was standing in the middle of a crime scene with a man lying dead on the floor and police officers swarming the home. It all began the night Kelsey called her brothers in tears, shaking, bruised, and overwhelmed after yet another violent attack from T. Hood, who had a long reputation for aggressive behavior. Neighbors had heard them arguing before, heard things breaking, and even witnessed Kelsey leaving the house crying on previous nights, but this time the situation reached a boiling point. When Kai arrived, he saw injuries on his sister that were impossible to ignore. Reports say she had bruises, swelling, and visible marks that showed she had endured a brutal assault, and although some say she tried to calm the situation down, others say her fear only fueled Kai's anger and protective instincts. The confrontation that followed quickly escalated into a heated fight, and although Kai and his brother left the house at one point, something inside him must have still been burning because when they returned, the conflict exploded again and ended with multiple shots fired. 7 bullets, 5 of them in the back. And by the time authorities arrived, T. Hood was gone, Kai remained at the scene, and the entire Frost family was suddenly under scrutiny. Police hesitated at first because Kelsey's injuries clearly showed she had been attacked earlier that night, but when T. Hood's family jumped online and accused the Frosts of planning the entire situation, the story turned ugly. His sister posted angry videos, screaming that Kelsey used her brothers to kill T. Hood on purpose and had been plotting revenge because she was tired of the abuse. She insisted that the Frost family cleaned up the crime scene, hid the weapon, and tried to cover everything up to protect Kai. Those accusations split the internet instantly. Some people said the Frosts were protecting a murderer. Others argued that this was a heartbreaking example of a young man who snapped after watching his sister suffer for too long. Then things became even worse when leaked audio of Kelsey emerged, where she said she didn't condone what happened and didn't want her brothers involved. Her voice sounded cold, tired, and detached, almost as if she was ready to step back and let Kai take the blame. Rashida, who had no idea the audio existed, was devastated when she heard it. The pain on her face in that moment reportedly shattered the room. She wasn't just dealing with internet gossip anymore. She was facing the collapse of her family in the most public and heartbreaking way possible. Then a video leaked showing T. Hood violently attacking Kelsey in the days before the incident, dragging her by the hair, slamming her into a wall, and screaming while she cried. That footage confirmed what many suspected. Kelsey had been suffering in silence, hoping love would change him, but the situation eventually became dangerous enough to spark the deadly chain of events. Yet, even with the video proving abuse, investigators continued digging deeper, questioning whether the shooting was self-defense or retaliation, especially because most of the bullets struck T. Hood from behind. Every twist brought more chaos. More neighbors came forward. More rumors spread. More evidence appeared. Some witnesses claimed Kai wasn't the only shooter. Others argued that Kelsey lured T. Hood home knowing a confrontation was coming. The Frosts were being accused of hiding the gun, manipulating the timeline, and using their fame to influence the investigation. Rashida stopped filming reality shows, stopped appearing in public, and was seen crying at church, the stress clearly destroying her. Kirk handled things differently, cold, strategic, and silent, meeting with lawyers and investigators nonstop. Prosecutors pushed forward with second-degree murder charges as the FBI continued examining every detail, including the possibility that the killing was premeditated. Supporters protested outside the courthouse demanding justice for T. Hood. Social media split into war zones. Old clips of Rashida dismissing domestic violence resurfaced. Commentators blamed everything from toxic relationships to family loyalty to reality TV culture to bad parenting. Through all this chaos, Kelsey was being torn apart online, victim to some, villain to others. Screenshots of old posts praising T. Hood resurfaced, videos of them embracing circulated, and blogs twisted every detail into a new headline. For the Frosts, this storm didn't stop. It grew heavier, darker, and more complicated with every passing day. Even whispers spread that Kelsey could be charged as an accessory if investigators believed she deliberately brought her boyfriend back to the house.